Hi there. I know it's been a while since my last video. What can I say? It's because I'm just not managing my time very well. I go to school full time. I usually work until 5 o'clock most days, and I've got a very small window to shoot and record because usually around 6 o'clock or so is when the nightclub across the street starts playing music and everything, so that would not be a very good time for me to record. So, like I said, it's a very short window for me to record between. Otherwise, it's just a matter of me, getting up at the right times and stuff like that. So it's completely my fault. But yeah, I'll see if I can start making videos a lot more frequently. I did want to talk about a video that I recently saw called Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, and oh my gosh, it was so awesome. My professor for my intro to advertising and other classes, she's been talking about how excited she is for the movie, and she was telling all of us to go see it, and I'm so glad that I did. It's for those of you who don't know, Jake Gyllenhaal plays this guy named Lou, and he's sort of this freelance photographer, digital photographer. He starts off as just kind of like this guy who is a little shifty. They show him, just kind of being a thief, and basically his story is that he's, just kind of like every guy today. He's just trying to make a buck. He's trying to, just survive because the job market is so tough these days that most people can't get a good job. So all he's really doing is, he's just trying to pick up stuff, sell it to the right person, get enough money to just survive for the week. And he's looking for a job that he can settle down in, but he's just not getting it. So early on in the movie, he's driving down the street and he sees this car accident, and he sees a bunch of guys in a van pull up and they start shooting it, and he says, like, what are you guys doing? And they tell him that they're, shooting it so that way they can sell it to whatever news corporation will buy it from them. So he decides that he's going to do that. And so it's really interesting to see how he goes about it, because when he starts off, he has no idea what he's doing. But he slowly figures out, what sells, what people are looking for, and most of them are looking for like the gritty kind of stuff. This stuff about, crime, about accidents, stuff that really just makes people cringe when they see it on TV. And so he starts going for more of that stuff. And what's interesting is that when he starts out, you just kind of sympathize with him, like, oh, okay, he's just trying to make like a buck. But then as it starts going on, he starts doing more stuff that kind of makes you think, like, is that right? Like, there's a part where he goes inside somebody's house, goes behind, the police tape when they don't see him, and he's recording, like, really personal stuff. So, what's really interesting about this movie is it just really pushes the envelope with what he's allowed to do, and it's kind of critical about, mass media and what's okay to do for the sake of ratings, and for stuff that people want to know in the news, and what kind of compromises journalistic integrity. So that kind of stuff I love, stuff that challenges you to think about what's okay and what's not okay for pursuing that kind of stuff. And it was just very exciting to watch this kind of path. I cannot say that I'm at the edge of my seat for a lot of movies, but this is definitely a movie that I was just sitting there the whole time, just with my eyes wide open, watching him do this. I read a couple of articles talking about how seriously Jake took this role. He said that he kind of starved himself for when he was getting in the role of Lou, because he wanted to project, or the character was supposed to be this kind of frail guy who was just starving most of the time, to show how desperate he was to get this kind of work. And he very much came off of that. You could just see, like, his cheeks were a little bit thin. It kind of looked like this guy who just wasn't eating as much as he should. And I absolutely loved that. Let's see. So it's a very dark comedy, and that's the stuff I kind of like, because it's a lot of what they're doing is very I don't want to say like freaky, but I do want to say it makes you really think about, like, oh gosh, this is awful stuff that he's doing. Um, there's something I can talk about. It's not really a spoiler because they've put part of it in the trailers, the previews. There's a part where he gets a police scanner, and he is trying to listen for when accidents are happening or when there's burglaries happening, and he gets word that there's a car accident that just happened, and he and his partner that he got off of Craigslist and has no idea kind of what he's doing. They bolt in their car. They just speed right down the highway to go to it, and they get there before anybody else does, even before the police get there. And there's a guy who's fallen out of his car, and he's looking at it like, oh man, I really need to get a shot of this, but it's kind of in the dark where I can't really get a good shot. And right next to it, there's a light. And so, or actually, it's the headlights off of the car. So what he does is he puts his camera over where he's going to be, and then he actually gets the body, drags it into the light, and then goes back to his camera and he starts filming it. So he's actually tampering with, not the crime scene, but, the scene of the accident. He's tampering with, what should have been. That's definitely something you should not do, but nobody else was there, so it's like, what stopped him? So it's stuff like that just goes on throughout the whole movie. It's very much, my friend was right next to me, and he was just, this guy's horrible. And I was just sitting there like, that's the point. So if you're into the kind of stuff like, if you're into stuff like that really makes you think about what's right and what's wrong and what you should and shouldn't do for the sake of, pursuing news and journalism, stuff like that, go see this movie. It is awesome. That's it. Thank you very much.